The Ming Dynasty and the Dream of Han Revival. After nearly a century under Mongol rule, China was ready for a change. The people longed not only for stability, but for something deeper, a return to Han Chinese tradition, pride, and identity. Enter the Ming Dynasty. Founded in 1368 by Zhu Yuanzhang, a former peasant and Buddhist monk-turned-rebel leader. The Ming was born from fire, famine, and a desire to reclaim the soul of China. Zhu wasn't born with noble blood, but he had something better: grit, vision, and a whole lot of luck. He rose through the ranks of the Red Turban Rebellion, a grassroots movement fueled by outrage against the Yuan. The Yuan dynasty, once mighty, had collapsed into corruption, internal strife, and natural disasters. Mandate of heaven, gone with the storm. Zhu Yuanzhang eventually overthrew the Mongols and declared himself the Hongwu Emperor, ushering in one of the most iconic dynasties in Chinese history, the Ming. From the start, the Ming Dynasty was about restoration, restoring Han culture, restoring traditional Chinese governance, and, maybe most importantly, restoring the sense of who we were as a people. The Hongwu Emperor had seen too much chaos to leave things to chance. He centralized power like no one before him. He abolished the position of chancellor because, well, he didn't trust anyone else to run the show. Imagine a CEO who's also the CFO, COO, and janitor. That was Hongwu. He reinstated Confucian ideals and civil service exams. Education and loyalty became the pillars of the state. Peasants were encouraged to farm. Taxes were simplified. And law? Brutal but clear. The emperor didn't mind using harsh punishments to get his point across. You could say he ruled with an iron fist, and maybe a backup iron boot. But while Hongwu focused on order, later emperors started looking outward. Especially one. Yongle, the third Ming emperor and arguably its most ambitious. Yongle wasn't originally supposed to be emperor. He seized the throne in a coup against his own nephew. That tends to cause a bit of awkward family tension and civil war. But once in power, Yongle moved fast. He shifted the capital from Nanjing to Beijing and started constructing the Forbidden City, an architectural marvel and symbol of imperial power. And then came one of the most legendary figures in Chinese maritime history, Zheng He. A Muslim eunuch with a fleet of massive treasure ships, Zheng He sailed the oceans before Columbus ever dreamed of a compass. His expeditions reached Southeast Asia, India, the Middle East, and even the coast of East Africa. He didn't go to conquer. He went to show the flag, or rather, the dragon. Diplomatic gifts, giraffes, and prestige were all brought back to the Ming court. It was a golden moment of Chinese soft power, but not everyone loved these sea adventures. Some officials thought they were expensive and unnecessary. After all, China was the Middle Kingdom. Why go to the world when the world should come to you? Eventually, maritime voyages were halted. Ships were docked. Records were burned. And China turned inward. Still, the Ming didn't lose its glow overnight. Domestically, it thrived for a time. Agriculture improved. Literature and painting blossomed. Porcelain from the Ming era became a global obsession. You know, the blue and white dishes your grandma loves. Commerce thrived too. Markets expanded. Urban culture grew. Silk, tea, and art moved across China and beyond. But like many great things, the Ming had cracks beneath the surface. The bureaucracy became bloated. Corruption crept in. Famine and natural disasters added to the strain. The Great Wall was repaired and expanded during this time, but no wall can stop bad leadership or unhappy peasants. Then came the Ri-Chai late Ming emperors, some of whom were less than impressive. One famously spent more time building toy furniture for his palace than managing state affairs. Not great during a national crisis. Eventually, rebellions broke out. Most notably, Li Zicheng, a former postman-turned-rebel, marched into Beijing in 1644. The last Ming emperor, Chongzhen, hung himself on a tree near the Forbidden City. A sad end to a grand dream. But the story didn't stop there. Just as Li Zicheng took the capital, the Westmancheswijk, a rising power from the northeast, swept in and seized control. They established the Ming Dynasty, marking a new chapter in Chinese history. Still, the Ming left behind a rich legacy. It was a time of revival, reinvention, and rediscovery of Han identity. It showed that even after foreign rule, the Chinese spirit could regroup and shine again. The Ming Dynasty gave us stories, architecture, philosophy, and porcelain that still captivate the world. It proved that a farmer-turned-emperor could inspire generations. It showed the power of culture to rebuild an empire. So was the Ming a dream come true? In many ways, yes. It revived the Han Chinese pride and reclaimed the mandate of heaven. But like all dreams, it had to wake up eventually. And when it did, it left behind something remarkable. A reminder that even in the ashes of defeat, history can rise again with dignity, color, and a little bit of dragon fire.